அந்த வீடியோ மட்டும் குத்துறக்கூடாது. நல்லா கை தவறி குத்தாலும் குத்துருவேன் நான்.
இந்த கிளாஸ் பையனுக்கு யாரோ வந்த மாதிரி இருந்தது.
வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க, அதான் போட்டுருக்கேன். இப்பதான் வருது. எடுத்துக்க சொல்லுங்க.
இந்தா சமந்தா இந்தா.
Okay, so good evening everyone. Myself Mayur, and I am a post instructor for Statistics 1. So there is a request, and also maybe you can say it's warning that okay. So how we are going to operate this session is, since this is the first session for Statistics 1, I will ask all of you to be patient throughout the session. Okay, do not make any chaos. So that is my request to all of you. One more thing is how we are going to operate the session is I'll ask. So if you have any doubts, you just have to raise your hands. Okay, I'll ask one by one, and I'll take your questions and try to explain all those questions. Okay. Since since this is like a lot of students are joining at the same time, it might not be possible that within a stipulated amount of time I'll be able to answer all those questions. It may be possible that your questions may remain unanswered. Okay, but what I feel is, since most of the I'm believing that all of you have gone through the week 1 lectures of Statistics 1, and any doubts are there, you guys will have the same or common doubts. So if I'm explaining one question to or if I'm explaining any concept to any student, it might be possible that it's the same doubt you will have, right? So once I explain that question, you can like you can lower your hands, right? And do not make any choice in between either. So somebody is playing sound, right? So I'll give you only one warning. After that, I will remove you uh, from this session. And if I remove it from this session, you will not be able to join any session throughout the term. So be careful about, like, while you are having, if you are doing the music or any other misbehaving attitudes, right? So that is a warning to you. And one more thing. So how we are going to start the session is, maybe I'll start with some concepts. I'll tell you the brief summary about week one, and afterwards you guys can ask me any questions. We'll take the doubts, and you guys will have the so we'll have sessions from tomorrow onwards every day mostly. So you'll have sufficient amount of time to study again and ask your doubts. So even if you go unanswered today, you guys can come tomorrow and ask your doubts there, right? Okay. So I think all the instructions are clear to you. So if it is yes, then we'll start.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. I understand. I understand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
I think the calendar showed some other date. Like, is this meeting?
Sorry.
This date was something else in the calendar.
Date or something else means what? So this is today's session, right? I don't know. Yeah, date is same, right? 8th June session is from 7 to 9.
Okay, sir. I'll check it in my system then.
Okay.
Sir, one request. I am Anubhav. Sir, if you go through activities wise, activity 1, 2, 3, likewise, if you go and anyone having the problem in that activity part, they can raise their hand and ask that particular question. So it will be sequential and it will be more beneficial for us, sir, in my
Uh,
opinion, sir.
Okay, but see, mostly the activity questions are very simpler problems, right? I cannot go through all the activity questions, and I shouldn't go actually through all the activity questions. The
No,
reason
no,
why we
no.
are not
I,
okay, just
I
let
am
me
not
complete.
asking for every
Yeah, yeah, I
question.
understand. You're saying that activity 1.1 and 1.2, you're asking me like that, right? So for that, okay, maybe I'll take some of the questions. That's not a problem. But we have one session on Saturday, so that is entirely dedicated to activity questions. So if you check your calendar, you will see that the calendar says it's activity questions, solving like activity questions, right? So it is activity or practice session. So where all the questions related to activity will be, uh, you know, will be heard and let's call. Or maybe I'll also take some of the questions. So today what I'll do is I'll start with summary of week one, because this is first week, so a lot of you might not know, or I don't know like how many of you studied all the week one or watched the lecture. So I'll start briefly with that, and then we'll take your questions. Okay. Maybe if you want, I'll go activity wise. No issues on that.
Well, thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir, not yet.
No,
Okay. Just it.
No,
I think
sir.
it depends on your internet connection. So just wait for some time and we'll be able to see. Okay. Is it visible now?
No, sir. Still not. It's not
No,
visible.
Still
No,
not
No,
visible,
sir.
sir.
So it's just coming that you have
No, sir,
shared
no.
your screen, but your screen isn't visible.
yes.
Thank sir.
No.
Okay. Is it visible now?
No, sir. Still not
no,
visible.
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
No, sir, still not
No,
visible.
sir.
So is it
Not
So the
not
for me.
same
visible for
problem.
anyone?
Not for me.
Okay. Okay. We'll check. Okay. I'll again share my screen maybe. Okay. Right. Right now.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
It just
So it's
states
just
that
coming
you
that
have
you
Yes,
have
sir. No,
started
started
sir.
sharing
screen
screen, but
sharing.
the screen isn't visible.
Okay. 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 Maybe I'll check my internet connection. Just a minute.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I ask a small question?
1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, you can ask. Just a minute. Is no screen visible?
No, sir, the same No, sir. problem.
No, sir, it is not
Same
visible.
problem.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. We'll rejoin it again. Okay.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Visible, right? Okay, fine. Just
Yes, sir.
Sir, it has stopped sharing automatically.
yeah. No, I stopped. Just a minute. Again, reshow. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
It's
clear.
visible.
Okay, fine. Then we'll start. So I'll give you the brief summary. Okay, somebody was asking me the question. What was the question?
Yes, sir. I have
Yeah,
asked a question.
yeah.
Sir,
Tell.
is name a variable or not? A variable or not? I mean, the name when you have a data and the
Name
name
is a variable. Name is a variable. Okay,
name
maybe
is a
I'll take that
variable.
example. Yes. So yeah, okay. So before, okay, maybe you guys, a lot of you are having troubles with the variables and cases. So I'll just give it like I'll give you the summary over the next half an hour. After that, maybe I'll take the questions, and if you have doubts, then you can ask me at that point, right? Because I'll take some
Okay.
examples. It may be clear to you in that case. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So let's start with the. So what is okay, anyway we are learning this is statistics for data science, right? So data science, that means we are dealing with mostly the data. So there are two types of data broadly. So we'll classify it into what, structural data, and or you can say structured data or unstructured data, right?
Yes.
Structured data, right? Okay, what is structured data and what is unstructured data? So structured data is basically the data which is tabulated, right? Which is tabulated or summarized, right? Summarized in a table. And other property of structured data is what? It is easy to search, right? Easy to search. Why I'm saying this easy to search is, let's say we'll have one example where I can say, suppose I'll take one example of a class, right? In a class, typically what we do is, or what we collect is, let's say we'll uh, collect the name of the student name, right? Then we have, let's say, uh, email ID of a student, right? Email ID of a student. Then we can have the phone number of a student, right? Then we'll have what, suppose the 10th marks, 12th marks, like this, right? And there will be various names. So I'll take some names here. Let's say I'll take my name itself, Mayur, right? Then I'll have Prashant. Then I'll have, say, Nikita. Then we'll have Nitin. We'll have the Deepak, right? So these are the names of the students, okay? And if I'll collected some email IDs of the students, right? And I'll wrote down this email IDs, let's say at the rate gmail.com, right? Then we'll have phone numbers of these students. Then we have 10th marks and 12th marks of the student. So suppose if I ask you, so this is what, this is tabulated, right? This data is tabulated. That means this data I have summarized in a table, right? Okay. In this case, if I asked, so okay, so this is one property we have covered in this table. One second property is what, easy to search. So let's say I asked like, can you tell me what are the 12 standard marks of Nitin? So you will directly go to the student name Nitin, and I'll directly go to which column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth column, and I will search here, right? So this is what, in this way I have searched the Nitin's mark, right? So it was easy for me to go by student's name, and I have, since I have tabulated in such a way, right? In the columns I've segregated the variable names, and or maybe I tabulated some features here, and with respect to that particular person, right? So this was the person, right? This was the person. With respect to this person, I have uh, collected all the data and tabulated in such a way that I have collected email ID, phone number, 10th mark, 12th mark, or any other features we have done, right? So for Nitin, I have recorded these features: email ID, phone number, 10th marks, and 12th mark. Because of this, I know that where to search, right? So if I say Nitin, I will go first through the student name. I'll go here to Nitin, and then I'll directly jump to 12 standard marks, since I have asked the question, what are the marks of Nitin, right? So in this way, it was very easy to search for me, right? As well as uh, because it is tabulated, it was not a big issue for me to find out the features. So these features, student name, email ID, phone number, 10th marks, and 12th marks, are called as what? These are all variables, right? So if you see carefully, all the column names, so these are the columns, right? Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. All the column names are actually the variables, right? Maybe we'll go again through this example after some time, but right away, it's these are the column names, and column names generally are called as the attributes or features, right? These are the attributes or features, right? And these are called as variables, right? Okay. So what is unstructured data, right? So unstructured data is it is not always, maybe I can say it was not always tabulated, right? And it is very hard to search, right? Hard to search. What are the examples of structured data? The examples of structured data are like audio files, right? Or maybe lyrics of the songs, right? Why I'm saying this? Because if you go through any lyrics of a song, it will be, let's say, or maybe I'll take one example. Let's say jingle jingle, right? Right. So how I'll tabulate this data? I am not able to tabulate this data because I do not have the features, right? I do not have the features or attributes or variables, right, to decide for, and I will just write jingle jingle little bass, or maybe some rhymes, right? Okay, take some rhymes, and it will be like, let's say, this 10-line poem. Okay. In that case, what will happen if I ask any word to search for? Uh, how to go to that word is like, you have to go through each and every line, right? And then you have to search for that specific word, right? Unless so unlike to this, right? Initially this was a table. Here what happened is, if I ask what are the 12 marks of this Nitin, I'll go only through the student name. I search for Nitin, then I directly jump to the 12th, the fifth column, right? So because of this tabulated nature, it was very easier for me to find any such value. So if you have the, let's say, audio files of suppose you have recorded this session itself, let's say. So this session is, let's say, 2 or 3 hours long. In that case, what will happen if it is recorded, and if I wanted to search for any specific thing in that session, what you have to do is, you have to go through everything, and then you have to put marks on the some point. Let's say I have spoken about, let's say, cross-sectional data after 1.5 hours, right? And if you are new to this, and if you go through this recorded session, and somebody has asked you that, just find out where the unstructured data. So Mayur has explained at what time Mayur has explained the unstructured data. At that time, it was very difficult for you to search unstructured data, because you have to go through every single point, because you do not know where it is, right? So that is the problem or difficulty is handling with the unstructured data. But is unstructured data unuseful?
No,
No,
sir.
No,
no,
right?
sir.
No,
Those
because if
No.
if you do yeah, so if you do any if you do some pre-processing,
Qualitative research,
yeah,
sir.
pre-processing or something on the data, what will happen? You can convert that unstructured data to structured data. So there are several methods to convert the unstructured data to structured data, and so most of the time in the data science, that is the biggest task, right? So if you go through this journey, you will understand this is the most difficult or important task in data science, right? To convert the unstructured data to structured data, right? But the unstructured data is not unuseful. It is a useful data. It is just that it is not useful at when you receive that data. What you have to do is you have to do some processing over that data, and you have to convert that unstructured data to a structured data, right? Okay. So I think at this point we are clear with structured data and unstructured data, right? So now we'll go through the type of maybe. So I described, right, what are this these are these names, right, in the tabulated format. What this suggests? They suggest you these are the attributes or features of a data, and they are called as what? Variables, right? They're called as variables. Now we'll see the type of variables, right? So let's say what are the
Sir, tell us something about cases, sir.
yeah, we'll go there. Don't worry about it. So let's see about types of variables first, and then I'll go
Sir,
about yeah.
I didn't understand about how you do unstructured data.
How you do unstructured data means what?
No, sir, like how is unstructured data useful? I don't understand.
So let's say you got the
Excuse me, sir.
data. Hmm.
Sir, in this class, will we be discussing doubts or we will be discussing
No,
theory?
we'll discuss doubt after some time. Like I will just go through the summary for like let's say
Sleepover.
maybe next 20 minutes, and after that I'll just take the doubts. Okay.
Yes, sir, it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Because I don't know, like many of you haven't gone through lectures, or many even if you have gone through lectures, it's sometimes it is maybe I'll try to answer to some concept level questions, so that some of your doubts will be cleared at this point itself, right? So yeah. So somebody has asked me about okay, one more rule maybe we can have is maybe since I'm
Sir,
not able to see your I'm not able to see your names who's asking the question. It's better when you're asking the question, right? Tell me your name and just ask your doubt. Okay, that will be beneficial for me. Yeah. So somebody
Okay,
is
sir.
asking me about what is how the unstructured data is useful, right? So generally, what happens is, let's say uh, uh, you collect some data, right? And you collect some data in such a way that uh, so you may not know, maybe let's say you may not know uh, okay, let's take one of the example as let's say images, right? So you have collected lots of images, right? And
yes, sir.
do you know how these images uh, how the computer will understand these images? Do you know that? So it depends on basically the pixels, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
number of pixels in a
Ye-
image.
yes, sir.
It depends on that, right? So let's say you have collected so many images, let's say a variety of animals, let's say, and you wanted to. So once you received those images, you do not know from what source you have received those images, right? Somebody is a good photographer or somebody is a good painter. They have done the good job, and you are able to maybe understand those images by visually seeing. But some of the images are like suppose they are blur images, right? Or some other kind of images which are not animals, for example, right? But you receive all types of images at the same folder. But when you search through that folder, and if you wanted to search for dog, right, dog images, it is very difficult to go through that folder and search only for dog images, because there are a lot of unwanted images also are there, right? Or maybe blur images are also there, right? So that is an unstructured data. So how you structure those data is you just categorize all the images into some categories. For example, dogs, you create one folder called dogs, you create one folder called cats, you create one folder called other animals, and you create one folder as some other type of photos, right? And you just pick all these photos and divided them into the categories, right? So when I received all the dump files, right, dump images, that was my unstructured data, right? And I have just categorized that data into different categories. For example, dogs, cats, right? So these are my categories, or maybe any cattles and other photos. So when I did that, it becomes a structured data, right? So the data which you feel initially, which you got initially was unstructured data. Now you have converted that data into a structured one. So this is not a very the precise example, but for understanding purpose, I'm giving you that example. There are several other things which you have to do to convert the unstructured data into structured data, but this is one of the example. There are some examples of if you understand the text to speech, right? So if you wanted to convert this text data into a speech, right, how will you do that, right? So text data, when you receive, it might contain, or maybe you can understand about the mails, right? So one of the tasks of machine learning is to classify spam mails versus non-spam, right? But when you receive the mails, those mails are not in a structured format, right? When you receive a lot of mails, they are not in a structured format. So so that is when you receive any text or any images, image files, audio files, they are not in a structured format. That is called as unstructured data. When you do some processing over that data and convert it into your usage, that becomes a structured data. Understand?
Understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are now we understand what are the variables. So we'll just see the types of variables. So broadly there are two types of variables, right? One is what?
Sir,
Categorical.
Numerical variable,
Numerical, and
and
the other
another
is
is
categorical.
categorical, right?
Categorical and numerical.
Numerical and categorical variables. So what is the difference between a numerical and a categorical
sir,
variable?
sir.
Or these are called as these are called as qualitative as well as, and numerical are also called as quantitative. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
can you explain once again what are variables? I just missed this. In just one line, you can, if you can say.
Yeah, so variable is just the column names. When you tabulate the data, right, and when you wanted to uh, record some of the features of the data, uh, and in which category you are going to record these features, these are called variables. For example, in this data, what I did is I wanted the information about the students in a class, right? So I have tabulated all the students in a class. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 students, right? I have collected or I have recorded their email IDs, corresponding email IDs, corresponding phone numbers, corresponding marks, 10th marks and corresponding 12th marks, right? So all these, right, the student names, email ID, phone numbers, 10th marks, 12th marks, these attributes are called as what? Variables. And generally variables are represented by column names in a tabulated data. Understand?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
And this data, these variables are categorized into two categories. One is numerical and another is categorical, right? What is numerical data is the data over which we are able to perform meaningful
Sure. Statistical
arithmetic
analysis, sir.
operations. Arithmetic operations means what? That will
Plus,
include
minus.
addition, subtraction,
Multiplication.
multiplication, and division,
Division.
right? And what is important here is meaningful, right? Why I'll tell you what is the significance of this word meaningful here. So suppose, okay, can you tell me now if you understand this, and what is categorical data is we are not able to
Sir, I have a
perform
doubt.
any. 1 minute. So okay, I'll finish with this categorical definition and then you can ask. So categorical or qualitative data is what? Where we are not able to perform any meaningful addition, subtraction, multiplication, division operations. Okay, now you can tell me your doubt.
Sir,
Yes.
does variables exist in unstructured data?
Generally no, because variables, when I'll say is when I convert that unstructured data into a structured data. Once you convert your unstructured data into a structured data, then we can say that that is a variable. Otherwise, no. Right?
Okay, sir.
Right? Okay. So can you tell me, let's say this is student name, right? Okay, this is okay, right? Or should I write some again freshly this?
Got it, sir.
No, about this table is okay for you, or should I write it?
Yes,
fresh?
sir.
Fine.
It's
Yes,
okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So then, can you tell me what is student name? Is it a numerical variable or a categorical variable?
Categorical.
Because there are no numbers here, definitely that means we are not able to perform any operation. So this is definitely a categorical variable. What about email ID?
Nominal.
Categorical.
No, we'll
Categorical.
go to the scales of measurement later. First of all, tell me whether it is a categorical or a numerical. Email ID is what?
Categorical.
Categorical, sir.
Nominal.
Because-
Nominal.
Huh?
Email ID.
No,
Nominal.
nominal ordinal do not
Nominal
go right
variable.
now. No, 1 minute. It's not a nominal variable.
both numerical and letters.
Nominal, ordinals, interval, and ratio. These are not the variables. These are the scales of measurement for variables, right? So do not confuse with the variable and the scales of measurement. Currently, we are studying about variables. So variables are only of two types. One is numerical and another is categorical. Okay, right? So what about mail ID? It is a categorical variable, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excuse
What
me,
about
sir.
phone number?
Categorical.
Why categorical?
Can't perform arithmetical operations on the phone
Sir,
numbers.
adding or
Right.
subtracting phone
Right.
number does not make any sense.
Right? Okay. So even though the phone numbers represent numbers, right? These are the numbers. But adding one's phone number, let's say my phone number is 997089, right? And some, let's say Prashant's phone number is 679899. Can I add these two phone numbers? Yes, I can do this because these are the numbers I can add. But whatever the addition here it is, it does not have any meaning, right? There is no meaning to that addition.
Yes, sir.
That's why this is even though they are numbers, they are not numerical. Phone number is not a numerical variable. It is a categorical variable, right? There is no meaning.
Phone number are structured data or unstructured?
Sir, can you explain the difference between scale of measurement and this variable, sir?
No, I will do. See, that's what I'm saying. You is whenever I'm teaching anything, right? Just focus on that. Do not go or jump to the another concept directly, right? I'll come to the scales of measurement. I'll come to that. What are the cases, right? Everything I'll cover, but directly do not jump. That's what I'm saying. I know you guys have seen the lectures, but still we'll go one by one to end, and then we'll have the we'll see the doubts, right? Okay. Let's say Mayur has got, let's say, ninth. He's got 90%. Prashant got, let's say, 95%. Nikita has got, let's say, 89%. Nitin has got, say, let's say, 91%, and Deepak has got, say, let's say, again, let's say 55%, right? Okay. Similarly, 12th standard will have some numbers. Can you tell me what type of variable this 10?
Numerical.
Numerical.
Categorical.
Numerical.
Categorical.
Numerical, right? Why numerical?
Because we can perform
Operations can be performed, sir.
Right? Because I can say 95 minus 90 is how much percent? It's 5%.
5%.
So there is a difference of marks between Prashant and Mayur. In 10th standard is how much? 5%. So there is a meaning associated with this subtraction, right? So I'm able to perform a meaningful subtraction, right? Here, and hence it is a numerical variable, right? Similarly, what about 12th marks?
Numerical.
Numerical.
Right? Okay.
Numerical.
Okay. So you understand about the categorical and numerical now?
Sir, why did phone numbers end up as a categorical variable?
That's what I told you, right? Let's say we have a 10-digit phone number, right? Let's say, can you tell me any let's say I have this phone number 87965438, something like that, right? This is my phone number, and suppose your phone number is like this, 98764848. Okay, this is your phone number. Can you add this to phone numbers? Yes, you can add, right? Because
sir.
these are numbers, I can add. But does this addition make any sense?
No, sir. Because the result would be a 9-digit number.
No, it doesn't matter. Whatever the result is,
The
it
result
doesn't matter,
won't
right?
make any sense.
See, here I said like there is a difference between 5% marks, right? So when I say 5% marks difference, there is a meaning to it, right? Suppose you go. Okay, I'll tell you one more example. You go to the shop and you take 2 kg of sugar, right? Okay, you have
Yes, sir.
taken the 2 kg of sugar, and if I go to the shop and I have taken the 3 kg of sugar, right? When I
Yes, sir.
add these two, what I'll say is the addition of this is 5 kg sugar, right?
Yes, sir.
Does that make any sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it makes
No,
sense,
sir.
right? That means you have added 2 kg sugar into 3 kg sugar, and it has increased, right? So you are able to perform the addition operation, but it is a meaningful addition, right? Or
Yes, sir.
let's say I have 3 kg sugar. If I remove 2 kg sugar out of it, what I'll remain with? I'll remain with 1 kg of sugar, but it has a sense, right? But here, when in case of phone numbers, if I add this to phone numbers, whatever number I will get, it does not have any sense, right? Similarly, if I subtract these two numbers from each other, what will happen? I'll get some number, but does that belong to any person, or does that
No,
have
sir.
any meaning? No meaning
No,
to
sir.
that, right?
No, sir.
There is one
Okay,
more
sir. Then I
example of it
understood.
as jersey number. So suppose Virat Kohli jersey number is 18, right, and Dhoni's jersey number is 7. So if I add this two jersey number, it will become 25, right? But does it make any sense? No,
No,
right?
sir.
No, sir.
No,
Right?
sir.
Because that
No, sir.
25, it does not belong to Dhoni and does not belong to Virat Kohli, right? Or else if I take subtraction operation, so 18 minus 7. So can I say the jersey number of Dhoni minus jersey number of Virat Kohli? But I'll get some number. I'll get 11, but that 11 does not have any meaning, right, or sense, and hence they do not belong to a numerical variable. They belongs to a categorical variable, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have seen
Yes.
about the variables. Now we'll see about cases. Okay,
Sir, what?
what is cases? So you understand about variables, right? All the column names are variables, right? What is
Yes, sir.
cases? Case is
Sir,
case
this
is
phone number are structured data or unstructured?
it is structured, right? When it is uh, when you are able to tabulate it, then it is a structured data. If you do like this 997067 89759632, like this, if you have these numbers in a line, so if you gather 10 person's name and without comma separated, you have just write down all those numbers, then it becomes unstructured data. What you have to do to make it as a structured is you have to tabulate the data into in a table, right? So you just have picked this 10 numbers, you just pick 10 numbers, you just pick 10 numbers, and you have added that into the table, then it becomes a structured data, right?
Sir,
Okay,
what
sir.
about lyrics of a song?
It is unstructured data. In its raw
Unstructured.
format, it's a unstructured data, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and do not
Sir,
ask me the questions from grid assignments right now. Okay, so, it's not a good. You just whatever we are telling you, based on that you just think and just write down the answer. Okay, I'll talk about cases now.
sir,
Excuse me, sir. Am I audible?
Hmm.
sir, are
So
suggestions structured or unstructured?
okay, you can think about it now, right? So I have just cleared about that thing. It's your uh, uh, mind now. You have to put it into that mind and just try to answer, right? Think about it and just answer about it, right?
Sir, it's
I've given you
unstructured.
Unstructured.
I have given you the enough example.
Unstructured.
You can think
But
about it.
if you put it in a table, you add a column named suggestions,
Good,
and
bad,
you give the
worse,
See,
question
etc.
as number of
I know that is a
variables.
question from some assignment, right? You just
Yeah,
think about
practice
it.
assignment.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
didn't get it.
it's unstructured data because you are not able to structure from that, right? So it's unstructured data, even though it
So
is
if
in a
uh,
table. Okay,
so if they ask number of variables, do we include that column or not?
we shouldn't, right? Hmm? Right? Okay.
Why, sir?
So why means what? It's not a variable, right? You're not able. See, it's very specific. What is variable? It denotes some feature, right? So if I say 10th marks, that means what it will click in your mind? Some numbers, right? Some numbers, right? But it should not include something else, right? It should not include the quotes from a person. So if you have a lot of quotes, it will have like so many quotes, right? You're not able to directly go through that data very easily, and hence it is not a variable. A variable should be like it should be varying, but it should have some, you know, quality associated with it, right? There is no quality in that uh, codes or something else, right? Because you are not able to search that data, and it is not you're not able to perform so many operations on that data, right? Because when you are dealing with the data, you should be able to do certain operations, right, to make that data to have your use. What you'll do with that codes? So you have lots of codes. Suppose you have so many suggestions, right? What will you? How it will become qualitative? If you convert that code. Suppose it is, let's say the suggestions are the session was not good, right? Session was not good. This one suggestion. Another session is please include some questions in a session, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Right. 1 minute. Okay, why you are interrupting when I'm
I'm sorry,
explaining?
sir.
Let me finish and then you can ask, right?
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So these are the suggestions, right? These are the suggestions. The session was not good. Please input some questions in session. Then you should have, let's say, I do not understand anything, right? Then some people will say session is awesome, right? Some will say, let's say, mm, say again, I'll write jingle jingle little bits. Some mischievous kids will be there. Then they'll write jingle jingle bells, something like that, right? What? Okay, what you will understand or how this will be useful to you is if I create a variable, let's say suggestions, in a qualitative manner. For example, the session was not good. I convert it into uh, let's say uh, you know let's say uh, 2 stars, or maybe I'll say, let's say it is bad, right? People, what is this like? Okay, please include some questions. So how to convert it to this? Maybe I'll just say medium, or maybe I have to create one more variable for that, right? One more variable saying that uh, questions are required or not, right? Let's say questions are required, and if it is yes, it is yes. If it is not, no, right? I do not understand the session. What does? I'll convert that into a bad session. Then I'll say some. They are saying awesome. That means it's a good session, right? And this jingle jingle bells does not have any quality, so I'll just write the maybe NA or maybe missing, because that does not belong to any of this medium session or good session, right? Right? Or maybe I'll say, let's say average. Okay. So when I have converted this suggestion into this format, it will become a qualitative, right? It will become a categorical variable. But in this format, it is not a qualitative data, because I'm not able to understand purely just see the session should, whatever it is written there, it should be very uh, easily understandable, right? Easily understandable and easily consumable to your mind, so that you will be able to perform some operation. So if I go through all this data, bad, average, bad, good, and NA, what I'll suggest is your session was uh, on a scale, let's say on a scale, or maybe on an average, the session was bad, right? I'm able to interpret it by looking at this data, and that too very easily. But if I look into the suggestions, it will take a lot of time for me to go through each and every suggestion and find any uh, what do you say, any qualitative information or any useful information through that. So it is very hard for me to go through each and every suggestion. If I'm able to convert that into some of the qualitative thing, then it's very easy, right? So that's why suggestions is a unstructured data, and it is not a variable. When it is unstructured data, it should not be a variable, right?
So
Sir,
does that mean when if a
sir, if I put
suggestion?
this suggestion, if I create a column called suggestion, and instead
Uh,
of
or
putting the
maybe
values
feedback.
as,
You can think maybe you can create a column to as a feedback, right? If I go
yeah,
through that.
if I create that column, and if I
Ah,
instead of writing bad average,
hmm.
what I'll do is I'll put the values as the session
That is
was
fine.
not good, direct values.
Yeah, that is fine.
So will that
1,
be
2,
structured or unstructured?
direct values means what? Like you'll rate that session, right? Maybe 1 to 10.
No, I'll create a column called feedback, and then
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
write the session was not good, I did not understand as values. So will that make it
Values means what?
structured or
Values means
unstructured?
how what values?
Yeah, you wrote bad average like that, no sir.
Huh?
You wrote under that suggestions column before you wrote bad
Okay.
average. So instead of bad average, I'll directly write what the user has told. Like the session was not good. That was what he told. So I'll put the same thing there. So if I
What is the use of it? What is the use of it? Again, it is the same thing, right?
no, if a column is like that, will that make it structured or unstructured?
No. It will make it is unstructured again.
Okay. So
Because
this was
you
my
are
doubt.
doing the same thing, right? Again, it's not a you have to convert that sentiment. It's kind of right. It's a you have to convert it into some feedback, right? Feedback, it should be maybe it is one word or it is on a scale of something, right? Then it will become structured. I understand your query. It is related to that question, right? It is a table which was there,
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, but it is unstructured data, right?
Got
Excuse
it,
me,
sir.
sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
In column 1, you have mentioned the names in random order.
Hmm.
So will this be structured data or unstructured data? Since it is not easy to search.
Which one? Sorry, I can you
In
repeat
the
your
column 1, student's name,
Ah.
you have mentioned in random order instead of alphabetical order. So will it be considered as structured?
Yeah, it is
Or
again structured data. Yeah, even though the names are not in a structured way, sorry, not in a alphabetical manner, that is fine. It's not a problem.
then it is not easy to search. It will not fulfill
Why?
the second condition.
No, it is again easy to search. What is the problem in that?
No, I have to find out the entire column to search a particular name instead of if it is mentioned in alphabetical order.
Okay, I'll tell you. Easy to search means it's not like that. What you are thinking. So, for example, let's say it's okay. I'll create one fresh table. That's a name. Okay, then maybe email ID. Then we'll have, let's say, phone number, and again let's say 10th mark. These are my variables. Okay. So what are you saying is if these names are not in alphabetical order, right?
Yes.
Correct. So let's say Mayur, Deepak, and okay, these are not in alphabetical order, right? But let's say this is Mayur at the rate gmail.com. Okay, phone numbers are, let's say, some numbers are there, some marks. Let's say I'll mark 10th marks in percentages. Let's say 65, 92, 87, 67, let's say 5, let's say 45, something like that. Okay. So if I have, so you said if it is not in a alphabetical order, I don't feel it's very difficult. Instead of, if I say, let's say I have the data in this format. Mayur is having an email ID, Mayur at the rate, and is having 10th marks. Okay, just give me some 2 minutes. Okay, I'll just I have to just give me 2 minutes. Okay, is my screen visible?
No, sir.
No, okay. Just a minute.
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
sir. 1 minute. Okay, okay, I understand. Fine. Okay, so if this is written is like this, right? Mayur is having an email ID of this, is having 10 marks, let's say 65, and phone number as 99 dash dash dash. Let's say Deepak is having 10th marks as, let's say 92%, is having mail ID like this. If I have this kind of data, right? So going through this data, right, where there is no order, there is no proper structure. So let's say here email ID comes first, then 10th marks are coming second, and phone number coming third. Similarly, here Deepak first is 10th marks, and then we'll have phone number and email ID like this. So in that case, searching for the 10th marks, right, for any particular person is very difficult. See here, in this case, what will happen if even if it is in a date in this table, right, you have enough tools on maybe Google Sheets, or you go anywhere, right? It's very easy for you to sort the data, right? It's not a difficult task to do that, right? And once you sort data, you will have that data into the alphabetical order. There is no
No,
problem.
sir. For example, in a telephone directory, if the names are not in alphabetical order,
correct,
how would I search my name?
No, that is fine. That is again your whatever you're saying. If it is in alphabetical manner, it is very easy to search, right? But even if it is not, even if it is not in alphabetical order, but there is a phone directory to you,
Then
still
how
you will
will
be
search
able.
my name there?
Why not? You can search, right? It will take some time, right? That will. I understand you're perfectly right that if it is in the order, it is very easy for me to search through a phone directory. And whenever you're collecting the data, it
Structured
should be
data are in tables.
What? Sorry.
So structured data are always in tables.
They are not always in the table, right? But usually whatever data comes, like so for example, what he said, right? He said phone directory or some other means, right? They are in the tabular format, right, or in a summarized way. But there are some data of just I told you, there are the folders in your computer screen, right, where you put some data, images, maybe audio files, or you have categorized them into some. Uh, these are also structured data. Or maybe if you see, if you go to a hospital, you have the patient cases, right? So let's say you have patient IDs, right? Accordingly, you will have the data collected over there in let's say in on the paper, right? You'll have that data in that manner. You can convert that into a table, but mostly it is not said that it should be in a table, but if it is in a tabular format, it's very easy for me to go through that data. That is the thing. It should be a categorized data. Generally, structured data means it's a properly categorized data. So yeah, it will be a one of the features, and it is a good features, I'll say. If that what he said is, if in a phone directory, it should be in a alphabetical order. But it is not true for every case, I'll say. Suppose here I have mentioned names, right? Instead of names, if I collected data for patient IDs, right? So if I because I can have duplicate names, right? I can have, there may be 3 persons who are having the same name, right? There will be 3 persons who are having, let's say, name as Mayur, Mayur, and Mayur, right? Or maybe then again I have and Prashant. In that case, and let's say I'll go through, I'll go with the roll numbers, or I'll go with the if it is a hospital, I go with the patient IDs. So there will be unique IDs associated with that data, and accordingly I'll search. So patient ID corresponding to this patient is different, and patient ID corresponding to this patient is different, right? So again it is good to have, I'll say, the uh, what do you say, the order in which way you are collecting the data, right? For example, it should be a alphabetical order, or if those denote some numbers, they should be arranged in some ascending or a descending order, so that it will be easier for me to go through the data. But if it is not an alphabetical order, I cannot say that is unstructured data. That is the sense I wanted to give, right? If it is a tabular format, and all the categories are we are able to see in all the categories in a pure much it is not cluttered, right? In that case, it is a structured data. If the data is cluttered, then it is called unstructured data, right? Even if it is not in the order. That's what my point to prove here. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I say something?
Mhm.
Sir, I think, it actually depends on the context. I mean, if you have less data, then even if it is not in alphabetical order, then it is easy to search. But when you have, bigger data, large data, then actually when you are searching, then if it is if it is in alphabetical order, then actually it would be, easy to search. So in that context, it will be unstructured. I think so.
Actually, it shouldn't be dependent on the how much large size data is there, right? I understand. Like it's okay, because see, you are not in general cases. If you deal with like if you see data science thing, you are not going to deal with like very small data, right? Mostly you will go through, because if it is a small data, then why should we apply the skills of machine learning to that, right? You can give it to some person, he will do manual things and he will come up with some results, right? Generally, you will deal with the large data. Okay, so it can be a phone directory or it can be some other thing. But structured data, what does that mean is it is properly categorized into some categories, right? And those categories you are able to understand. For example, if I say 10th marks, then your mind will directly go to the 10th marks. So how will you see the 10th marks? You will be seeing maybe two numbers or two numbers dot something like 99.99%, right? You can think in
Sir,
that
I think
fashion.
those other data are corresponding to that category. That I agree. But I can say in a column, the names mentioned are in unstructured manner.
It is not like that. But you cannot say that unstructured data to that column, right? Either your unstructured data means either your entire data is unstructured, or you're understanding. I understand you are saying that this order should be there, but if I say I have one category as name, I have one category as email ID, phone number, and 10% to a class students, that means I already categorize them into some categories, and that those categories are very clear to me, right? So if I say name, what comes in your mind is name of a person, right? Name of a student. If I say email ID, it comes in your mind as email ID. So I understand. So easier to search does not mean that it will take like one minute of time. See, anyway, you are going to deal with this data throughout computer, right? So for computer, it is not very difficult to sort the things up and go through the numbers. Right? You are not going to do the manual search here. It is searchable means it is searchable to a computer. You can think in that way. Understand?
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Sir,
Okay.
so
Doesn't
it is about this topic. So as you said that computer will not take time, but as data gets bigger, computer also takes time. It will take time.
Okay. Then I'll suggest you. Okay, maybe I do not want to stretch this up. It's very easy task to do is you just collect your data in a ordered manner, right? That's
Like
very
I
simple. Or
was
maybe
saying,
you
for some
understand that.
specific cases, like if we want to find certain letters,
I
then we can
understand your
arrange,
point.
right?
Okay, I'll understand your point. What I'm saying is you just order that data. That's very easy task. You just, and it's very easy for in a computer also to sort the data. But if it is not sorted, you shouldn't say it as unstructured data. That is my sense. Okay. Apart from that, I do not feel like we should argue on this too much. Understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir,
Fine.
one question on the same one. Assume same name, email ID, phone number. I can categorize all those things, and there might be a field saying feedback. A student might have a free flow of feedback. He can write any comments. So in that case, how do we deal such kind of like unstructured or structured?
You just think of that as unstructured data itself. Unless you convert those suggestions into some category, which I told you earlier, that the feedback, right? That bad or good in that case, because see, you are not seeing it is like column wise, right? You're seeing it as an entire data, right? If any one of the column is not giving the proper information, you just treat it as a unstructured data. Why? Unstructured data is not a bad thing. I told you, right? Unstructured data is a thing which we have to do some work on that and convert that into what? A structured format.
Okay, so in any of the column doesn't have
so entire data you treat as a you treat as a unstructured data.
Unstructured data.
Try to work on that, convert it into structured data.
That's
that is it, right? Okay.
Sir, one small question, sir. Hello.
Hi, yeah, tell me.
Sir, let's say if a person did not provide his numbers, so if a number is missing, so we call it a structure or it will become a structure?
So instead of that missing value, you just say NA or you just put some dash, right? Still it is a structured data because you say the information is not available. NA is what? Not applicable, or that means it's not available. So or NaN or something, you can put it as and still it is a structured data. Unstructured means what? You have to convert completely that data to understandable format. So if you do not have any information about some person, if it is not useful, let's say you have collected the data for 1 lakh people, right? And you just do not have the information of 2 people on some features. You just remove those column. You just remove those numbers or those rows from that, and whatever remains is a structured data, right?
Excuse me, sir. So one question. So is roll number in this data, a variable or not?
Okay, I'll tell you that thing. I'll tell you this one. I'm coming to that thing.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, I just have say I want to remove say okay, I'll go with this X.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, if suppose only the data points are given, like in a like if we graph that only we can do the scatter plot like that, so it comes under unstructured data only, no, sir?
Sorry.
Sir, if there are in a data set, there are only some points are given. Let's say x-axis and y-axis, and if we plot that, we get scatter plots. So like that comes under unstructured data or structured
Which
data.
one?
Sir?
Which the points tabulated or the graph you're saying? Points,
like
right?
yes, sir. The
Let's say
points.
let's say you have this point 0, 1, 1,
Yes,
2,
sir.
2, 3,
Only the
4,
points are
5.
given without any information. Like any information, it's let's say only, for example, a sensor data is given completely that measures its temperature data, and only that points are there, and there is no information with that, no variable with it. So, like in that case, it comes as unstructured or structured data. So.
Still, it is not clear to me. Can you tell me how the data looks like? Can you tell me that?
Sir, like I'm telling, for example, let's say we have a like temperature sensor, and from that we are getting some data, like some real-time data, like keep on some values, and we are just splitting it to x-axis, y-axis using any formulas, and I'm just asking whether that data comes under a structured or unstructured, sir.
But you have some information about that, right? It is if just numbers are there, then I
Yes,
cannot
sir.
tell it as a data itself. See,
Okay, sir.
okay, because data should give you some information, right? It should be
Yes.
informative. Otherwise, it is not a data.
Sir, let me try. I think his question is feeding. He's trying to feed the live
I
data
understand.
to the
So,
system.
so
I think
but
unstructured data maybe.
no, but what he's saying that I have just taken some points randomly. Okay.
Right.
He's saying that he has taken the temperature census data and he has just taken, let's say X might be a position. Okay. Let's say left, right, bottom, or something. I don't know. Like, let's say top. Okay. And he has measured some temperature as, let's say, 4.5. Okay. Maybe 9.2. Then we have, let's say, again 5.6. Top is, let's say, again 6.5. Okay. If only these numbers, if I look at, it doesn't give me any information, right? Unless I specify what is X. X is what? The position of a sensor, right? And if Y is what? The temperature recorded in degrees Celsius. If I give this information, right, then it becomes a data first, right? And then it is structured data. But unless if I feed you, if I don't tell you anything, I just said X and Y.
Or let's say if we make the X variable as a time and Y variable is the sensor, like that data, that the temperature data.
Yeah.
So
Then in that case, if I have to mention that what is X is what? X I'll say was time, right? Time, and at different times you are measuring the temperatures, right?
Yes, sir.
Then it is a structured data. I'll say
Okay,
that
sir.
9 a.m. it is 4.5 degree, 9.10 a.m. it is 9.2, 9.20 a.m. it is something that, right? So if I tabulate this data likewise, but I should have some information about it, right?
Yes,
What type
sir.
of data I'm collecting, that has to be very clear, right? So
Okay,
even
sir.
if you see if you are gone through the activity questions or practice assignment, it is already mentioned in the context that or in the comprehension that the context is like you go through, maybe we have collected data about the students, right? Or maybe we have collected data of employees where salaries are mentioned and tabulated in this format. So similarly, you have to tell each time that what is that this time and temperature represents a data which is given by a temperature sensor. In that
Okay.
case, if I tabulate the data, then it becomes information and I'll call it as a data. Okay.
Or sir, we can tell this as like it's initially coming as unstructured, and but we are making it as a structured
Correct.
by using.
You can think about that like that. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Hmm.
So in activity question 1.2, email has been mentioned as structured data, but whereas in practice assignment 1.1, email has been mentioned as unstructured. So is email structured or unstructured, sir?
So email, when it is okay, I'll check that question maybe, but it should be a structured data, right? Email ID is collected and given in a tabulated format. It should be a structured data.
But in activity question, it has been mentioned as
Okay, I'll check.
email as unstructured.
Okay, I'll check with that.
Hello,
Right?
Mayur
Okay, sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, I don't have a doubt actually. Some of my friends who are in qualifier are not able to access this meet. So I just came to let you know that qualifier students are not able to access this meet because they are using their personal emails.
But I think if they use their registered email IDs, are not they're not able
They didn't got the registered ID, sir. They are in qualifier.
Yeah, correct. So okay, yeah, correct. So okay, all of you are the term students. Is it like that?
So I am a diploma level student. I
No,
just
sir. I am
tell you that.
qualified student.
Yes, sir. We are qualified students.
Term
So,
student.
so I guess like it is a problem with some
I
student.
also
Like
qualify,
two,
sir.
3 students have told
Sir,
me this.
from
Okay.
registered email ID which we have registered, we can access. So they might not be using the registered email ID, sir.
Yeah. So just ask them whichever mail ID they have given for they have registered on this, right? At least for the qualifier, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they are using some other email IDs. Just ask them to log in through. But I'll just check. I'll just check with my team
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I will also confirm with them.
Okay, sure. Okay. I'll
Okay.
just
Thank you
check
so
with,
much.
Yes,
one
sir.
minute.
Today I got the access of content.
Okay.
Hello, sir. I actually have a doubt that how do you differentiate between discrete numerical data and continuous numerical data?
1 minute. We'll do that. Just give me a minute. I'm just.
Hello, sir.
एक मिनट 1 minute.
Yeah, sir, I just confirmed like that person is trying to access from his registered mail only. Like
Okay,
there
okay.
are two persons who I know.
Hello, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. I'm just give me 2 minutes. I'll just okay, accessibility. Okay, so I asked my team to check. Meanwhile, I don't know, like if they are not able to join, they can go through the YouTube link.
Yeah,
The
that's
session
what
is
I
live
told
stream.
them.
Yeah, they can. We'll try to resolve that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Thanks.
sir. I will leave now. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I have a technical issue that has been happening for the last few days. That is that I cannot access the lessons of Statistic 1 or any other courses pretty much on the dashboard. It is showing that error or website is down or something like that.
Okay. In that case, you just write it to support. So the mail ID is support@study.iitm.ac.in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'll take one example where I'll try to tell you about the cases and how they are differentiated from the variable. Okay. So in this table, what are the variables? Roll number is a variable.
Roll number, name,
Roll number,
maths,
name,
chemistry.
physics, maths, chemistry.
Right? These are the marks. Okay. These are the variables, right? Why these are called as variables? Because they are varying, right? So if you see the
Because
first
they're
roll
varying.
number, first number roll number is 22F101. Then second is same but 22F102. So these are varying, right? Similarly, you see here Mayur is there. Then again Mayur is there, but again in the third row it is Rohan. Then in the fourth row it is Nikita, and then the fifth row it is Mithila. So what is happening here? These numbers, even though these two rows are same, the third row is varying, and hence name is called as a variable. Similar thing will happen in physics marks, maths marks, and chemistry marks, right? So cases are those those entities for which are unique, okay, unique in the table, and for which we are recording other variables, right? For example, for 22F0 F101, it's a unique roll number, right? And for this roll number, I am going to record the other variables. For example, I'm going to record a name, I'm going to record physics marks, I'm going to record maths marks, and I'm going to record chemistry marks, right? Again, for 22F102, it's a unique entity for which I'm recording name, I'm recording physics marks, I'm recording maths marks, I'm recording chemistry marks, right? But in this case, whether Mayur is a case or not? No.
Sir.
Why it is not a case? Because it's not unique, right?
Yes,
It is
sir.
not unique. So what are the distinction for case? Case is what? It should be unique, and for case we are going to record other variables. Okay, understand?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, roll number, name, physics marks, maths, and chemistry mark. These are the variables. 22F01, 02, 03, 04. These are cases.
Correct.
Sir, then what is Rohan, Nikita, and let's say Mayur got let's say Mithila got 63 in physics. So
Yeah.
what will be this 63? What will we call that 63? Or
these are the
what is-
values. These are the values corresponding to that variable. So for
Okay,
example,
okay,
Rohan
okay.
is a value for a variable called name, or 63. This is the value which is recorded for a variable called physics marks, right?
So for 22
22
F04,
F101 is also a value for roll number, but it is a case in this table because for this value I am recording other values for other variables. Understand?
yes sir, like 22 F104, that is a case.
Yeah.
And Nikita is the value for
Yeah.
the variable name
Variable
of
called
that
name.
case.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Corresponding to that case. Understand?
Corresponding that case. Okay, okay. Yes,
Right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is a distinction between a variable and a case. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go through that scales of measurement, right? So there are four.
Sir, you said value, right? Can you? I just want to write it down. You said value, right?
Yeah, you just think about these are some values, or
Okay, sir.
maybe attributes to corresponding to that variable.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
Hello,
can
sir.
you-
How can you differentiate between discrete numerical data and continuous numerical data?
Okay, it's see it's okay. Let's say maybe I'll go briefly through that. So discrete and continuous, right? Okay, so first of all, discrete and continuous, these are the categories for which variable? Numerical or categorical? Numerical, right?
Numerical.
We cannot have, yeah, discrete and continuous for categorical. So for numerical, we can classify numerical into discrete and a continuous. So what is discrete? Discrete is what?
Constant.
Countable, right? And continuous is what? Measurable.
Measurable.
So any quantity you are able to measure, it comes under continuous data, and any quantity which is countable, it comes under what? Discrete data. Again, the property is what? We'll have some jumps from one value to other. I'll tell you what is jumps, and in continuous what we'll have is it will take all values
Sir,
in an interval.
discrete means why continuable jump, sir? I can't understand clearly, sir.
I'll tell you. That's what.
Countable jump.
I will tell you. So that's what I told you, right? Whenever I am explaining, at that time, do not come into that discussion. Once I have finished, just you can ask your doubts. Okay. So I'll tell you what is discrete and what is jump. Like how I'll say that. So we'll think about a number line. Okay. I'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is in the positive x-axis. Okay. So if I say number of players in a cricket match, how many number of players can be there? Or number of players?
11. 11.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe I can tell you maybe some other. I'll take one other example. Let's say number of persons entering through IIT gate. Okay. So suppose on day one, how many persons can enter into the IIT gate? They can be, let's say, I'm not going to large numbers. I'll say, let's say 5 people. Okay. 5 people come on day one. So I'll tabulate the data as, let's say number of persons enter through IIT gate, and then I'll have what? Days. Okay. So let's say on Monday, how many persons enter? 5. On Tuesday, 4. On Wednesday, I'll have 3. On Thursday, I'll have 6. I have Friday, I have again 2. Saturday, Sunday, let's say it's off, so nobody is entered into the IIT gate. So if you see, the number of persons can take values as what? It can take value as 4. It can take value as 4. Sorry, 5. It can take value as 3, 6, 2. But can it take value as 5.2223?
No.
Can it take value as 4.3335 something?
No,
No,
sir.
right?
No,
So that
sir.
means it can
It
take
cannot
value
be
as 1.
possible.
right? So that means what? It can take value as 0, it can take value as 1, it can take value as 2, it can take value as 3, 4 or 5, right? So that means I can jump from 0 to 1, I can jump from 1 to 2, I can jump from 2 to 3, 4 to 3 to 4 or 4 to 5, but I cannot able to take all the values in between 0 to 1, right? Or I cannot be able to take all values between 1 to 2, right? This countable. Maybe I'll tell you one more example. As let's say I've checked the coins, okay, maybe the rupees in someone's pocket, right? So for example, okay, please mute some noise coming, uh, just mute. Okay. So let's say okay, Dharmendra Kumar, this was a warning for you. Just mute whenever okay, it is making disturbance. Okay, so let's say name, and I'll check the number of rupees. Okay, not number of rupees. Say money in rupees. Let's say Prashant. Prashant is having okay, and we have, let's say, coins of rupees 1, coins of rupees 2, coins of rupees 0.5, means like 50 paise. Uh, I'll have coin of 5 and 10. Okay, I've checked Prashant's pocket and I have found that he's having 2.5 rupees. I checked Mayur's pocket and I found out 10 rupees. Okay, I've checked let's say any pocket and I found rupees, let's say 3.5. Okay, so whether this 2.5, 10 and 3.5, is it countable, or is it is it a discrete variable, or is it a continuous variable?
Discrete.
Discrete, right?
Discrete.
Why? Because I'll tell you. Because let's say someone can have 0.5 rupees, someone can have 1, someone can have 1.5, someone can have 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and so on, right? So I can jump from 0.5 to 1, I can jump from 0.5 to 2, I can jump from 0.5 to 3, like that, right? I can have jumps, right? But I cannot have, or someone cannot have rupees 1.75 in the pocket, right? Or I cannot have 1.7777 rupees in the pocket, right? So I'm not able to take all the values between rupees 1 and rupees 2, right? That means these are the countable ones. This is called as a discrete value. Okay, so discrete can take all values which are countable, right? It is countable. It cannot take all the values between the interval, right? Similarly, if I go for example of a continuous variable, in that case, if I go through, let's say I go to a kirana store and I ask for uh, okay, I asked for, let's say Mayur went to the kirana store and he has asked for 2.75 kg of sugar, right? Kg of sugar, or I'll say sugar in kg. Okay, then let's say Ishitu went to a store and he has asked for 3.75 kg of sugar, right? Then Deepak went to a shop and he has asked for one, maybe let's say 2.80 kg of sugar, right? Then Nitin went and he asked for 2.85 kg of sugar. Is it possible?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
sir.
you can see
Measurable.
between 2 to 3 kg, I can take all values depend on the precision of a that weighing machine. But I can take all the values. I can ask for or I can weigh the sugar as 2.85, right? Or I can weigh for 2.86. I can weigh for 2.87. I can weigh for 2.88. I can weigh for 2.89, right? That means I'm able to take all the values between 2 to 3, and that is valid, right? So sugar in terms of kg, this it's measurable. So we are measuring sugar, right? So similarly, if you go to buy milk, right? You can buy milk. You can buy like 2.3 liters, right? Or 2.32 liters. I can buy 2.35 liters, right? So these are all the quantities which I can measure, and hence these are called as a continuous variables. continuous numerical value. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is a distinction between a discrete and a continuous.
So suppose in say for some cases it takes discrete values and for other it takes continuous value.
Can
Sir,
you
I
tell me
can't.
one example?
Sir, I can't understand the continuous, sir. Now you explained, no, sir. The
Uh,
sugar.
Why? Okay, what is the doubt there?
Sir, is that continuous number, sir?
It is a continuous number, right?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
Sir, if we have a weighing machine, suppose with a least count of 100 grams, then it could only measure weight in 27.1 kg and 27.2 kg, not something 27.15. So that would make weight discrete.
No, no, no.
But
Still, no, no. Still. I'll tell you. Okay, why you are saying this? Because, but you see, that is a problem of your weighing machine, right? That is no problem.
yes, sir.
That is not a problem of the sugar which you are measuring, right? So generally, you are going to measure. If you make your machine precise enough, it can accommodate all the numbers, right? Between this interval 2 to 3, right?
Yes, sir.
If your machine is, let's say, precise enough to have, let's say, it can, you are able to measure 2.000001 kg of sugar, right? Then I'm able to take all the values. But if you go and count the number of people,
Yes, sir.
right? What so even if you are able to measure 2.1 or 111 something, are you able to count three people into, like, after two you can just directly count three, right? You
Yes,
can't
sir.
count 2.111, right? Understand?
Yes.
So you do not have that precision in the machine, but it does not deny the fact that you can measure the sugar, or you can take that number 2.0001 ideally,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You understand? That
Yes,
is a
sir.
difference. So number of persons, number of let's say number of tigers in a tiger reserve, right? You cannot have 2.34 tigers, right? Or you
Yes,
cannot
sir.
have 2.2 tigers itself. Either you will have two or you will have three. You are directly jumping from that number 2 to 3, right? How whatever precise machine you'll have, you can count actually from 2 to 3. But when you have the sugar, you have the water, or you have the any quantity which is measurable, you it's not the problem of that quantity that you cannot measure to that certain precision, right? You can make that machine to measure that precisely, but ideally it should take all the values between that interval 2 to 3, right?
Okay, sir.
Right? Okay, just give me a minute. I'll just have water and I'll come back.
Excuse me, sir.
1 minute. I'll just take.
Sir, can I say?
No.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll have like half an hour left from here. I'll try to cover maybe these concepts, scales of measurement.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Sir, I
Sir,
have a
I
doubt.
Okay, tell me your name and just what's.
Sir,
sir,
I'm
I
Kaushik.
Okay, Kaushik.
Sir, is rating discrete or continuous variable?
What do you think? It depends on the context, right? How you're collecting rating, right? Rating is kind of like, it depends on how you're collecting the data. Accordingly, its scale of measurement also will change, and accordingly it will uh, maybe you can say. But broadly, if you see, rating should uh, it should not be a numerical variable, right? Because let's say rating, and if you are having rating in numericals, right? So let's say rating is in this case bad, okay, worse, or maybe let's say rating is in these terms: first, bad, good, maybe average, and best, kind of like that. So if I have, or maybe 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, uh, or maybe let's say this rating is in this term, rating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case, what do you think? This rating belongs to which variable? Categorical or numerical?
Categorical.
categorical.
And in this case, it comes under which?
Numerical.
Categorical.
Numerical, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you see, rating is the same thing, but how you have collected that rating, depending on the context of the data, it's uh, it's variable type is changed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Sir, how would
So
it be numerical?
because these numbers, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can actually compare these numbers also, and you can actually add this rating, right? So maybe you can subtract. So let's say, I do not know, like it depends on how you are collecting again.
Sir, but
Suppose,
what sense would it make if we would like apply some operations
okay,
on it? Like if we would
have
add
you seen the have you seen this kind of thing? Average rating on an app store is 3.5.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
If you have used Zomato or some other food delivery apps, or maybe you can see Play Store,
Yeah, yes, sir.
the rating has
Sir, I
given there
can't
as,
understand, sir. Average rating equal to 3.5.
what do you do? What you are not understanding? Hmm?
Sir, how average rating equal to 3.5, sir?
Okay, I'll tell you like how this average rating is 3.5. I'll tell you. Let's say we have, so I have just given you the example. Let's say we have 100 people reviewed, uh, given the reviews, right? So someone has given, so I have tabulated that data. Let's say person 1 has given rating 3, person 2 has given rating 5, person 3 has given rating 2, person 4 has given rating, let's say, so the scale is 1 to 5, let's say, and suppose he has given as 5, right? And accordingly, until 100, I have given some rating I have collected. So how you are going to find the average rating in this case? I will add all the ratings, right, for 100 persons, 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus something like that until 5, and divide it by 100, right? And I come up with this number, let's say 3.5. So average rating given by 100 customers is 3.5, correct? So in this case, this 3.5 suggests to some number, right? Some information it is giving to you. So it is like average rating. So it is, so average rating 4 is better than 3.5, right? So let's say Zomato. Okay, I'm not going to say, but yeah, Zomato is having the rating as 4, and let's say Swiggy is having 3.5. What it will interpret to you? So again, this is a so I'm using this these names for educational purpose. So let's say we do not know exactly what is there, but let's say this food delivery app is having rating 4, and this food delivery app is rating 3.5. What, where, from where you will try to order?
Zomato.
Right, because you will see the rating, and you'll say that okay, average rating is this. So that means a lot of customers have given the this feedback, and I'll go with that opinion, correct?
So supposedly the average rating for the first few cases takes discrete values, and for the other few cases it takes continuous value. What exactly classify the
then
whole
you
data set as
then you
in general?
continuous, right? There is no, if you have, but generally I don't see that variation in the rating. If you see, you
The
cannot
individual
have.
rating is discrete only, no, sir, because that one you can't give like decimal
That's what.
rating, but the
No, no,
average
no.
is out to decimal.
No, but there may be some apps they can take this rating, let's say 0.51, 1.52, 2.5. But in this case also it is discrete, right?
Yeah,
In this
yes.
case also is discrete. I don't think somebody will collect the rating in terms of like this 0.555. You can take any number. I don't think, right? Generally, you will provide, or uh, any person wanted the ratings to be finite, right? It should not be infinite, correct? So in that case, it should be a discrete. But okay, that is a different point. Currently, the point is depending on the data or depending on the context of the data, you can actually categorize rating into a categorical variable as well as a numerical variable. It can be true for other type of variables also. Right? This is a special case where I wanted to inform you about. But
So one thing
generally,
I did not understand here.
Hmm.
So you said that it can go from categorical to numerical. So that means that if you rate something as say good, bad, average, so that is an ordinal scale, and then you're converting it into an
No, no, no,
interval
no,
scale.
no. This is not a thing. I just said this is a separate thing, right? This rating is a separate. This rating is definitely a different thing, and this rating is a different thing. I'm not saying. So if you code this into that numerical variable, then the new variable can have that interval scale of measurement or maybe a ratio scale of measurement, right? That is a different case. But initially, how you have collected the data, accordingly you will decide scale of measurement for, or maybe a variable for the data, right? You're understanding my point. See how
No,
you are
I have
collecting
this
the data in
confusion
that
because
context of the
in the
data itself.
lecture,
Hmm.
in the lecture, the professor she said that if you rate as good, bad, average, then it is ordinal. But if
Correct.
I code that into 1, 2, 3, it should still remain ordinal. But when it comes to numerical rating, I can perform arithmetic operations on it, which means that it became interval rating. Sorry, interval scale of measurement.
See
So
when you
I did not
okay,
understand that.
okay, I'll tell you. In case of interval, or in case of if I go, okay, I think for that you need to understand what is interval and what is coding. Encoding into, let's say, if I say bad as 1, okay, average as 2, and let's say good as 3, right?
Yeah.
Right? But this
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and if I say 1, 2, 3, and I say this rating, right, and this rating, but this rating, right, this initial rating, this is ordinal, correct?
Yes.
Understand?
Yes. Yeah.
Since to this, right, 1, 1, 2, 3, I have encoded bad as 1, I have encoded average as 2, I have encoded good as 3. But
Yeah.
do you have anything like this 2 by 3 plus 2? uh, does that make any sense here? That 1.5, where it will go,
No,
whether it will go
it
to average
doesn't.
or it
But
will go to good, or
yeah.
where right? No, right? So
Yes,
here,
but what I'm trying to say is because you've now encoded it as numbers, so now the gaps between those numbers are fixed intervals. So
okay,
wouldn't that
okay,
become interval rating?
okay, I will tell you. So let's say 1 to 2, is this gap correct? So is this a
Yeah.
gap of 1?
Yes,
No.
that's a gap of 1.
How you can quantify what is bad and what is average here?
What, sir?
So is this a same gap? Let's say 1 to 2, this interval, and 2 to 3. Is it same? Because we are encoded bad as 1 and average as 2. Am I
Let's say
able
if I
to?
don't know that this good bad rating has been encoded into numerical rating, and I just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers,
So
and I'm
when
asked to
you read
rate.
1, 2, 3, okay, when you read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
Then for you, that rating, it's an interval scale, right?
Right. So it is an interval scale, right?
Yeah, that is fine. So that's what I'm saying. Like how you are collecting the data, right? It depends on that collection of data and context of the data. the variables and scales of measurements will change. Right? You cannot say without seeing the data that what is the scale of measurement of that data or what is the type of variable of that data. Right?
Okay.
Because I'll tell you one more example. Suppose the size of the t-shirt, right? Size of t-shirt. Can you just mute?
These voices are not from my end, sir.
Oh, no, I just whoever is there, I'm just.
Matheus.
Okay, so size of the t-shirt. Okay, so let's say the size of t-shirts are let's say medium, small, medium, and large and XL. Okay, these are the sizes of the t-shirt. Okay, so when I suppose I have data like this, there are 5 names, 5 people. Let's say person 1, okay, person 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, for person 1, I have denoted this data as S, M, again S, L, and XL. Okay.
Yes.
And I said size of the t-shirt. What is the scale of measurement of this?
The size is
Ordinal.
ordinal. Yeah.
Right? And it is a categorical variable.
Yes.
Correct. But again, a size of the t-shirt can be, let's say size of small is let's say 28 to 30, medium is 30 to 32, 32 to 34, and 34 to 36. Okay. Instead of this, I have recorded the sizes like this. For person 1 will go into this category 28 to 30, 2 will go to 32, 32, and 30 to 32, and 30, 34, 34 to 36. Now tell me, what is this?
Interval. Now it is an interval
Interval scale, and it's a numerical variable because
numerical.
when you have, because for categorical variable we'll have 2 scales of measurement, nominal and ordinal, right? And for numerical we'll have interval and a ratio. Okay, suppose if I say size as less than 30, and then 30 to 32, 32 to 34, and let's say greater than 30, 34. Okay.
Yes.
And I have encoded this data like this. Suppose this less than 30, okay, 30 to 34, let's say greater than 34, again 32 to 34, then less than 30. What is the type of this data?
Ordinal.
Ordinal, right? Ordinal and category, correct? Because these are not the same intervals, right? Less than 30 can include from 0 to 30.
0 to 30, yeah.
Right. So now this my variable name was what? Size of t-shirt, right? But now in 3 contexts, right, the type of variable has changed and the scale of measurement has changed. So you cannot go blindly just on the name of the variable and tell what type of variable it is and what is the scale of measurement of it is, right? You have to see the data. Based on the context of the data, you can decide what type of variable it is, or what type of scale of measurement does this variable will have. Understand? It is your understanding.
Ordinal scale of measurement.
Why? What?
How is this data ordinal scale of measurement is less than 30, 32 to 34?
Because there is an order, right? So
the intervals are not uniform. That's why it's not interval. That's why it's ordinal.
So less than 30 is always be lesser than the size 32 to 34, right? Right. But the problem here is this interval, it can go from 0 to 30 and 30 to 34, right? And greater than 30, right? Greater than 30, this interval size is greater than 30 can include anything, any size, right? And hence it is a categorical variable first. And since it is a categorical variable, we'll have only 2 scales of measurement, nominal and ordinal. Understand? And but there is an order. Less than 30, I know it is always be
yes, about it.
Right? This is the differentiation here.
Sir,
Okay. Yes.
Sir, for example, rating given by a user is 4, 4.5 or something. Will that be continuous or discrete?
Discrete. Discrete. Rating given by a user, it will always be a discrete because you cannot have infinite numbers there. You will have specific finite numbers. Right?
Sir, it will be the same case with the average rating also.
No, average rating it will be different. Why? You can tell me if you
Because
take an
over
average
there,
of the
there's a
rating,
big number of users. So
right? You can have average rating between 4 to 5, right? It can take any number. It can have
Sir,
4.
maximum 2 places are there, like 4.25.
No, you cannot say, right? Let's say you have 1 lakh customers, right?
Okay.
And you did the sum and you just divided by 1 lakh. It can go up to 5 decimal places, right?
Okay, sir.
It can go, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what.
Sir, what about the pH scale?
You think about it now. I shouldn't answer everything, right? You try it. If you don't understand, maybe we'll have more sessions. Day after tomorrow, like mostly we'll have sessions all the days in a week, so you can ask your questions at that time, right? Okay, so
Sir,
mhm.
hello.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah,
Sir, is all integers are discrete?
tell me. You tell me.
Hello. Sir, is all integers are discrete or not?
You tell me, na. You just whatever I just told you, right?
So
Until
yes,
now.
I think it's discrete.
Why?
Sir, because everything are separate 1, 2, 3. That's why.
Correct. And it cannot take all the values
Sir,
between an interval, right? So if you have
sir,
the interval between 2 to 3, integers are not going to take any value between 2 to 3, right?
okay. Sir, and every decimals are continuous or not?
Every
Decimals like
what is
1.2, 1.5.
But how can you make a set out of it? What is a decimal set? I haven't heard about it, so just tell me. So real numbers or integers is a set, right? I can prepare a set of numbers, right?
Yes. Yes.
But decimals is what? Like I don't think decimal is what?
no, I think what he's asking is like wherever you see decimals, so should you immediately
No,
count it
no,
as
no.
continuous?
That's why I have given you the example of rupees, right? If you have points of 0.5, 1, 2, 3, you can jump from 0.5 to 1. You can jump from 1 to 1.5. You can jump from 1.5 to 2. But you cannot jump from 1.5 to 1.6, right?
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
Sir, in this
anyway,
one, I also have a doubt. Insert the money one. Shouldn't it be in 1 unit? Like if it is in rupees, shouldn't it be only in rupees?
it is in rupees, right? 1.5 rupees. It's a rupees, right?
No, but it is like 1 rupee and 50 paise. So shouldn't it be in 1 unit only?
But when I say 1.5 rupees, is it not a 1 unit rupees? Okay. What do you think about 2.5 kg? Is it 1 unit or separate unit?
1 unit.
1 unit.
Why? I can say 1 kg 500 grams, right?
It's the same thing.
Right. That's what. It is same thing for 1.5 rupees is
So, sir,
1
can we
unit.
say that as long as there is a fixed interval between the values a variable can take, we'll call it discrete?
Yeah, it is written at different
It's a countable.
ways. Yeah.
It's countable. It's countable, right? That is the word, right? Countable suggests you everything. And you see measurable. When it is measurable, it is continuous. So in an interval, let's say 2 to 3 or 30 to 40, if you not 30 to 40, 30 to 31, if you are able to take all the values means you understand, right? Like you just think about it. All the values means all possible values between an interval. Then it is continuous. If it is not, then it is discrete. Okay.
Sir, if rating is 4.5578, then it will be discrete or continuous.
Okay. Tell me, you cannot decide through one.
Sir,
one
it is
number, right?
average rating.
Okay, no, that's okay. But you should have a lot of average rating. So let's say day one's average rating is 4.776. Day two's
Yes.
average rating is 4.25. day 3's average rating is 4.55555. If these numbers are there, you cannot decide the type of variable or like discrete or continuous only based on one number, right? You should have large enough data to tell about that, right? Or maybe
it depends on data.
Huh? It depends on data. Everything is
Sir,
depends
if
on
I
data.
take in a particular day, rating of day 1, then
then you have only one data point, right? How can you tell that whether it is a discrete
okay,
or
okay,
continuous?
okay.
Right?
Okay, sir, I
See,
understood, sir.
you should
You have
always
told
be
about the
thinking
jumps.
about some bigger
You have
data.
told about jumps. So my question is, can the jumps be not in a regular interval, such as the square of any integers?
Yeah, it cannot be. It is fine. It should not be on a regular intervals. Jumps can be at different intervals also. It's fine.
So for a lot of places, what they also do is you can take anything like any decimal values, but then those values get rounded off. So then would that be considered discrete or continuous?
Okay, if it is rounded off, right, then it should be a discrete. You see, because you are not now. See, rounded off, it is known to only that person, right? But who is seeing that numbers? They should suppose let's say you see the percentage of marks, right? So 81.2%, 81.3%, 81.4%. But now it is 81.1%. We are not thinking about 81.111%, even though it is possible. But when it is recorded as like this, 81.1, 81.2, 81.3, in that case, it is a discrete, right? So that's what I told you, right? Like how you just do not decide only just by seeing the column name or thing. It should be decided based on what? The data, actual data, or the context of the data. What is the context of the data? It is in the given in the uh, you know in the comprehension or anywhere. If something is written about that, so that's why you see the specifications given in the bikes, right? Like the bike specifications will be, or maybe in mobile specification, they will mention the units, right? Or how they are measuring it. That is a description of the data, and based on that description or the context, you will decide whether what type of variable it is or what type of scale of measurement does it have.
So, sir, if the
Sir, I have a
data
doubt.
given, so if the data given to us is in fixed decimal points, so we will consider that as discrete, because usually data has some
Right,
kind
right,
of uniformity in it.
right. That is true.
Sir,
Yeah.
you said that we have to consider the context of the variable given. So there was a question in activity 1.3 where it was said what kind of variable is latitude, and in the there were 4 options: numerical, categorical, continuous, and discrete. There is no context of the latitude given. So here,
But in general, it is known to you how the latitude is defined, right?
yes,
How it will be defined. So accordingly, based on that. But it's okay. I'll say that it's a vague question again, but
yes,
that is
sir.
fine. That is for your practice purposes. But in general, when you see like a large number of data or real life data,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
it's best practice to say it should be very clear, right? You should understand the data, context of the data, and only then you'll decide. See, these are all the questions, right, whichever you see in practice assignment or wherever. It is just to give you the sense of uh, the things, right?
Yes,
But when
sir.
you see the real world thing, it's not same as that given in the practice assignment or the examples given by me, correct? So if I showed you the example of 5 students only,
Yes, sir.
but in real life it's not 5 students, right? What will you do with the 5 students? You're not going to do anything with that information. It can be done by manually, right? The program which you have entered is the bigger one, right? Like you are going to learn machine learning, or you are going to give it to a computer. In that case, what is your uh, what do you say, understanding? It should be like what type of data, what type of scale of measurement, the features which you are feeding it to the computer. You should understand that, right? And then only
Yes.
you will be able to come up with some solution, right? Or whatever solution given by the computer, it has to be understandable to you, and it will be understandable when you have the sense of the data.
So we can't say that latitude is continuous or discrete on its own. It requires context.
Yeah, in
Okay,
general
sir.
it should be, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
But in this case, it is a practice assignment question or activity question. You
Yes, sir.
can go through that, whatever the answer it is, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
okay, here maybe I'll stick to the time. So I'm sorry, like maybe there's a lot of students who are waiting, but do not worry about it. Maybe okay, just finish. I'll finish in 2 minutes. Maybe because yeah, we do not have. I do not want to extend the session to maybe because we have lots of sessions coming in. We'll meet again in some of the sessions. So tomorrow we have sessions which will be taken by our student TAs. So please do join the session and ask your doubts there. Okay. So maybe they will not take or they will not give you the summary. They will directly take your questions, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for
Sir,
joining
what time
the.
tomorrow?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I think it is
Thank
from
you.
6 to 8 and 8 to 10. So it's from 6 to 10. So there will be
Okay,
two
sir.
TAs. And I think so whatever rules I have given you, maybe you guys should follow that rules throughout the sessions, throughout the term. I think that will be better for both of you guys also and for us who are taking the session. Right?
So
So
do you
these are
notify
all
by
the
mail?
I think it is in the calendar, right? It's populated in the calendar. Just check
Yes,
your
sir.
calendar. Right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you,
and
sir.
listening.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you, sir.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Tell me, what is the doubt? I'll take.
Sir, how should I prepare for the qualifier exam? Sir, will you provide any book or any other
Book is
material, sir?
what I'll tell you is book is not necessary. Maybe because this it's just better to go through all the lectures given by ma'am, Usha ma'am, or maybe for other subjects too. You just go through the lectures, try to solve the activity questions, practice assignment questions, grade assignment questions on your own. Okay, and while solving, if you feel any you are not able to if you have any doubts, just come to the session, ask the session, get clarified with it, and there will be some revision sessions happening at the end before the qualifier exam. Try to attend those. I think that will be enough to qualify. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Just practice on your own. Whatever questions are there, try to practice on your own.
Okay,
Without
sir.
taking, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, sorry for
Okay.
interruption. There is a statement, descriptive statistics can be performed either on a sample or a population. So can we say inferential statistics perform on a sample only?
Yes, correct. So okay, I forgot to take that concept. Okay, but I'll tell you the answer. So descriptive statistics can only be performed, so can be performed on both sample as well as population, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
descriptive statistics is just a summarization of the data. But inferential statistics, because we are drawing conclusions out of the data, it will always be performed on sample. We cannot have inferential statistics for population, because if you know everything about the population, then what will you conclude about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you perform some
Thank you, sir.
operations on sample and just draw conclusions about about the population, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sir,
Okay.
so how could I understand descriptive statistics and inferential statistics by reading questions? There are a lot of questions in activities, so there is little bit confusion. So how could I
Okay.
understand
So
from
maybe
reading?
okay, maybe you just I understand your doubt. So the thing is, it should be, let's say, okay, I'll take one example. So suppose uh, there is a sample. So I wanted to, so there are some news agencies, right, who do surveys and give the exit poll, right, before the election happens, right?
Yeah,
If you know, if you understand about, if you know about it. So how do they do that? Is they will collect the sample of voters over the entire region, okay, but they will do they will do it randomly, and they will tell about the election result, that which party will win based on, let's say they have collected a sample of thousands people, and let's say the election is happening in Maharashtra, for example, and they have collected 100 people randomly throughout Maharashtra, and based on those 100 people's opinion, they have given the exit poll or the opinion poll that some party, let's say X party, will win this election. So based on only the sample of 100 or 1000 people, if they are able to draw conclusion about all the voters in Maharashtra, so suppose there are, let's say, let's say 30 lakh voters in the Maharashtra which are eligible to vote. Based on only 1000 samples, if they are able to draw conclusion about all the voters, right, it is called as a inferential statistics. But let's say this 1000, if they said within this 1000 sample collected, 500 will vote for X party, 300 will vote for Y party, and 200 will vote for Z party. That is called a descriptive statistic. Okay, if you draw conclusion based on the sample about the population, it is called as a inferential. So if you read through the statements carefully, you'll understand it. Okay, maybe we can discuss it about in some other session.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Okay. Okay. Good night. Bye bye.
Sir, one last.
Okay. I maybe I'll come in again in one of the sessions on Saturday or Sunday, or maybe that our TAs will help, or some other instructors will also take the sessions. Why I'm doing this, because I wanted to stick to the time limit. One more thing. Another thing is I have to go to have lunch, so my mess will quit close. That is a problem. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We won't disturb you much.
Okay. Thank you guys for understanding.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Patient
Thank
listening.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
IIT BSc का degree course ले
Bye.
Sir, hello, sir.
Hello. 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 Is session ended or not?